Hi students, today we will discuss unit number 6 from the coursework. It is When You Are Old, written by William Butler Yeats. William Butler Yeats is an Irish poet. He is considered the greatest poet in the English language in 20th century. He wrote many plays. He was one of the founders of the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. He was witness to the revolutionary politics of Ireland. Yeats was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. He is one among the great love poets of the world. This poem, When You Are Old, speaks of the temporal nature of the physical beauty and upholds the eternal beauty of soul. This poem presents two states of beauty, one at the physical level and another at the spiritual level. This is a short and sweet poem. This is a love poem. The speaker is the lover here. The poet or the speaker imagines his beloved in the future. He asks his beloved to read the book of poems he is now writing. In future, when his beloved reads the book, she would remember the past, her physical beauty, and the many who admired her, while the others loved her physical beauty and grace. Only the speaker loved her soul and her soul's search for something meaningful. However, she will also feel sad that love also vanished. This poem uses time frame. Now, here the poet William Butler Yeats gives his experience in this poem. The first two stanzas are his relating to his autobiographical nature. W.B. Yeats fell in love with an Irish actress by name Maud Gonne. She was very beautiful lady. They were friends. She was an Irish revolutionary. Yeats proposed her several times, but she rejected him. Later, she married to a revolutionary. He attained martyrdom. Now, Yeats wants to make her to repent why she rejected his love. Yeats in this poem brings out his love as true love, and in future she would definitely repent for losing him. This one we will learn line by line. In the first stanza of the poem, we know that The writer or the poet offers a copy of the poem of a poem he is writing and tells her to read when she becomes old. First stanza of the poem. Look at the first stanza of the poem. When you are old and grey and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. When you are old and grey and full of sleep. So here the speaker or the poet wants his beloved or lady love to read a poem which he is writing now when she becomes old. When you are old and grey and full of sleep, when his lady love or beloved becomes old, she will be grey and full of sleep. Full of sleep means inactive. And she nods by the fire, nodding by the fire, nodding by the fire. Fire means fireplace, hearth. Usually in European nations, they maintain hearth to warm the house. The speaker wants his beloved to take down this book. This book refers to this particular poem which he is writing now. He hands a copy of a poem to her and tells her to read when she becomes old. Not now, not at the present time. And slowly read. How does the speaker tell his beloved to read? To read slowly. To read slowly. And what he wants her to dream of, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once. Soft look your eyes had once means her physical beauty. She was very beautiful in her young days. And of her shadows deep. Shadows deep means of her past memories. So here, old, grey, full of sleep, nodding by the fire, these phrases indicate old age. The speaker or the poet hands over a copy of a poem, this particular poem, and tells her to read this poem when she is old or when she becomes old. She should read slowly, and that time she should dream of her physical beauty, her physical charm, and of her shadows deep means and of her past memories. So here the poet uses time frame. When you are old, the first line, the first two lines, yes, refers to the future time and dreaming of the soft look her eyes had once and of their shadows deep. So this one, in the future, she has to recollect her past days. So future time, and again the poet wants her to recall her past days, her past beauties, her past memories. The second stanza. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. In the second stanza, the poet it's tells his beloved that how many loved her moments of glad grace. Moments of glad grace means her physical beauty. Many, there were many suitors, or many men loved his beloved. How many loved your moments of glad grace? How many loved? Many loved your physical beauty and loved your beauty with love false or true. Among those many lovers, there were two categories. First group, they loved with false love. So all these men loved only her beauty, only her physical beauty. They never thought of her character or behavior or of her nature or inner character. They only loved her physical beauty. Among those, some pretend to love her. So they loved with false love. And some other loved with true love. They sincerely loved her true beauty. So, two categories of people, some loved with false love and some loved with true love. But these two categories of people or group of people, their love was based only on physical beauty. But one man, one man loved the pilgrim soul in you. One man here is the poet, the speaker, the poet Yeats. He loved the pilgrim soul in you. Pilgrim soul means the questing soul. The soul's search for something meaningful. The soul which is in search for spiritual satisfaction. The soul which is in search of true love. So this pilgrim soul word is very important. The speaker loved the pilgrim soul in his beloved. And another thing he loved apart from the pilgrim soul, that is, loved the sorrows of your changing face. He loved the sorrows of her changing face. Means, as time passes by, the beauty of the face goes on changing. So, the beautiful face turns to ugly because face is subjected to time. So, sorrows of the changing face, here the face develops wrinkles. So, she may look ugly after some years. So, this man, poet, speaker, loved the pilgrim soul and he loved the sorrows of her changing face. Even if she doesn't look beautiful after many years, his love would not be reduced. It will remain as it is because he loves her inner character. He loved her pilgrim soul. So, first two stanzas of the poem tells about what he feels about his love, and he wants to tell her that he was the man who loved her pilgrim soul. Many other people loved her physical beauty. So that is what here the Yeats want to convey her. When she becomes old, she would take this poem and she would go on recollecting her past. She would remember many loved her physical beauty, but one man loved her pilgrim soul and the sorrows of her changing face. So, in the third stanza of the poem, he, he detaches himself. Here, he tells about true love, about love. Now, and bending down beside the glowing bars, murmured a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. And bending down beside the glowing bars refers to the bars of the fireplace full of glowing coal. So with continuous burning of the coal, the bars, the grill bars, they start glowing. And bending down means here now the speaker's beloved has learnt many lessons from the life. Life has taught her lessons. She has bent now. So that is the meaning of and bending down. Where? By the side of the glowing bars, by the side of those bars, grills of the fireplace. Murmur. Murmur means almost uttering inaudible sounds. Murmuring. Murmuring how love fled. Murmur a little sadly. She is sad. How does she murmur? Usually, when a person is in a sad mood, he murmurs. Murmur a little sadly. What does she murmur? How love fled. So now she is repenting that in her young days she did not accept the love of the speaker, accept the love of the poet, accept the love of William Butler Yeats, because he was the person who loved her pilgrim soul and loved the sorrows of her changing face. So now she is murmuring that that love fled. So where does that love? So L here is used in capital letter. Love fled. Love is personified here. Love is given human attribute. Personification. It is a poetic device. So love is personified and love has fled. Love fled here. This is the mountain. Love fleeing. Love fled. So where does the love flee? And it paced upon the mountains overhead. So love fled upon the mountains overhead. So just look at this picture, you'll get the idea. So mountain, love is just pacing upon the mountains overhead. And where does the love hide its face? Where does the love hide its face? Sorry, where does the love hide its face? And it hid its face amid a crowd of stars. So among or in the middle of the stars, the love hid its face, or the love hid his face upon the crowd of stars. So here the poet, by writing this poem to his beloved and asking her to read when she becomes old, he is going to give a warning to her. And what type of warning? He warns that definitely in future she would repent for not accepting his love. So this completes the poem. Thank you.